ESL Katowice Royale, featuring Fortnite, is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, and PlayStation 4.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL Katowice Royale. Now, I think we should start off by saying we want to get into the game as quickly as possible. We understand things have been a little bit slow today, so we'd like to extend a very quick apology to everyone at home. We're working as quickly as we can through all the technical issues that we've got at the moment. The guys backstage are working as hard and as flat out as they possibly can to bring you the gameplay as soon as we can. Now, let's talk about these guys on the desk once more, because every time I look at you two gentlemen, you put the biggest smile on my face, especially you at the end. No offense, but I mean, Baller's just, he's infectious, that smile, isn't it? Come on, even you can admit it, right?
Yeah, it's fine. It's much better, like, you know, two Brits. We're surly about everything.
That's
so
true.
we need somebody else to liven things up around here. So, Baller, you know, livening things up. I know we want to talk about the future as well. I'm stealing your job for a moment.
We're getting really clairvoyant about things is what we're about to do.
I'm going to say, let's talk a little bit about what is coming up in between this week and next week, where the Season 8 patch is going to hit. That's one thing we've all been talking about. And we had big news. Big news on Twitter is that planes are going to be vaulted. It was posted in the Reddit AMA, confirmed by Epic, and that has a massive effect on the rotations in the mid-game.
It definitely does. Those rotations in the mid-game, the rotations in the early game, just basically using the plane to do, to hunt for supply drops, to find a good spot in the zone. There's so much, especially competitively, that end up being affected by the planes. And then you have the effect of a lot of players just staying up in the sky and doing their best to, you know, avoid people. It's kind of adding a separate layer, right? We have that 2D dimension, the X and Y on the map, and then we also have that Z layer. So we'll see what happens in Season 8 with no planes. It's going to be interesting for sure.
I think that was certainly the thing that put a smile on a few people's faces. When, look at that. Just right on cue.
It's just because I'm not a very good pilot. I don't actually mind the planes myself. I'm just up there like flying around. I instantly get shot down every time.
It's the only way that I get anywhere near that end zone anymore, to be honest with you, is just staying away and just like hovering in at the last moment going, hey, I came top 10. I'm really happy with my life. But, you know, that's just me. What other things have we learned so far, Baller?
We definitely, well, they hinted in an AMA that they did on Reddit. They said tomatoes. And then somebody else chimed in. He said, 4 things about Season 8. Number 1, tomatoes. Number 2, tomatoes. Number 3, or not tomatoes,
bananas. Bananas.
Tomatoes. I've just been praying so much to our lovely Lord and Savior, the tomato head. No, bananas.
Bananas.
And then he said B bananas and 4 bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
So what is all that about? Who knows?
Any ideas? Want to speculate?
Maybe a little bit of a map change.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
There's a lot of things
Maybe.
before we find out is all we know, really. Like, we're all going to find out at the same time.
Yeah.
We actually don't know anything.
No, we don't know anything.
Confirmed.
Like, just,
other than what was in the Reddit.
Everyone at home is thinking, you know, you guys know all this information. Why don't you tell us? We know nothing. Like, we genuinely know nothing more than anyone else. We're as excited, obviously, for Season 8 to hit as everybody else is. The only thing we know is that there's a couple of fissures on the map. Everyone knows that, right? Everyone knows there's a couple of cracks opening up on the map. But obviously, we've got the Polish competitors this weekend. I want to quickly look ahead to next weekend as well, because we have some of the best in the world making their way over. We've got $500,000. It's a sum that I don't get to say very often. I just had to slow it down a little bit. On the line. How excited are you for the international event?
I'm excited not only for the scale of it all, but we finally get to see in an offline environment all of the regions clash against each other. There are names all the way around the world that are coming here. The X2 twins, I think everybody is looking at how much they're crushing it over in Oceania. And now we get to see them up against North America's best, Europe's best, even players coming over from Asia as well. That we're just going to see that clash of styles. And that is what is so, so good for me as a competitive esports level for Fortnite.
Yeah, complete picture for sure. It's no longer just NA and EU. We get to see OC. We get to see Asia, just like you said. And I'm looking forward to some of those duos coming out from Korea, Japan, and China. So could be awesome. I've been keeping my eye on the Asian scene, and it's definitely starting to come out and show, you know, a couple videos on Twitter here and there, you know, a few videos on YouTube, and then the Korean Open, which was fantastic in terms of gameplay, style. just different kind of vibe overall, and especially when it comes to competitive play. These guys play differently. They really do.
I want to see whether there's extra aggression from any of the regions. And the one duo that I really want to see whether they can hold their crown is Nick, Mercs, and Aiden. Whether they will remain the tilted kings at the end of it. If somebody can
we'll have to
topple
find
them.
out. We will have to find out. One person that we're going to speak to, though, before we go any further, gentlemen, is the man who was on the desk to start things off. It's Succubus. He's down on the floor at the moment with the leopard skin neck himself, Adam Savage.
Thank you very much, my dudes. Yeah, I'm joined by Succubus right here, right now. We're right next to these phenomenal trophies. I mean, there's like an aura, like an energy coming off them. I've got to ask you, you've had a chance to cast here at the Katowice Royale. What was that experience like for you?
Absolutely crazy. I had such a blast up there on the Tomato stage. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow as well. It's gonna be insane. It's an insane couple of weeks, to be fair.
I mean, you mentioned it yourself, yeah, 2 weekends back-to-back. This weekend, the Polish finals. Next weekend, we got international. How exciting is this for Fortnite and for this amazing crowd here as well?
It's incredible everywhere. Like, the Polish players have been really performing, going out of their mind. I mean, that last game as well with Rich Art, wow, like that finish was top notch. And, we've got all that to look forward to when we get to the international event, and it's just going to get even higher level. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, Richard had some brave plays. That was sensational. Now, you're a streamer yourself as well. You've had you regularly stream at home. What is it like, though, for those influencers who come to an event like this, and there's being at home in your environment, and suddenly you're here in front of this audience, being broadcast around the world? How different is that to adapt to, and the mindset of the players here this weekend?
It's pretty petrifying. I'm trying to, find replacement words for everything. You've got to keep your vocab down. Like, when you stream, obviously you can swear, but here you got to cut it all out. Keep it nice and clean for the kids.
Well, I think we can all agree you did an unbelievable job, mate. We can't wait to see what happens tomorrow and next weekend as well. But for now, we've lots more to get through today. Game number 3 is right around the corner. We're going to head over to Mark and the guys upstairs and find out what awaits us next.
Thank you, Adam. You can see how hard Succubus was having to hold his hands behind his back there because he's probably never picked one of those up in a while. So he's going to keep his hands away from them. I'm only joking, buddy. I want you back up here. Don't worry. Don't hate me too much.
Ouch. That's savage.
Do you know why I'm saying it? Because he's down there and he can't reach me right now. But he's giving me...
He can't reach you yet.
He just waved a rolled up paper at me, and that's in England, that's a very scary thing. We're only moments away, though, from game number 3 here. Finally getting into the gameplay. It's obviously what we all want to see. What are your thoughts on this one? Are we going to see things start to change up? Are the players going to be a little bit antsy now that they've been sitting around for a few minutes?
I'm looking forward to see whether the players who've done well so far can keep it up, and whether we're going to have any new guys come up and kind of shake things up for us. So we have Hashtag and Taboo in that first game, then Richard and Mozart. So we'll see. It's going to be for sure. See if we can shake things up. That's my whole idea, right?
And I want to see a different zone. That's what I want to see for this game. We've been around Tilted a lot for this game. I know, Bala, you want an edge zone where people have to rotate a lot. So I really can't wait to see exactly where we go on this game 3.
Well, it looks like, to me, gentlemen, that Game 3 might be well on its way. Very excited to get into this one, obviously. I'm going to hand it over to these two absolutely beautiful gentlemen to take you through the action. So, gentlemen, it's over to you. Take it away.
Here we go, Bala. The bus is loaded. We're all already jumping in. Let's find out where we're dropping for round 3 of the ESL Katowice Royale. And we're already starting things off. We're right now with Sebux right into a fight. That first attack shot doesn't quite land, but he took a lot of damage in response. We'll back away from this fight. This is what we're talking about. These early fights are very unpredictable.
That's for sure, and you can already see there's a little bit of a stalemate. People not deciding they want to go forward, and it's definitely going to be hard to go through that corner for Sabushkox here and his teammate. But now over towards what looks like Zero, Matazord Viraxer.
Yeah, Zero's trying to get the angle. That's one shot goes down from Leon. Gets a lot of health off Viraxer. It's a 2 versus 1. He is going to get the down for now. There we pick up the elimination, and that is 2 eliminations already for Zero in this game. That's 10 points banked already for this duo.
That's really good start for them, and Snobby right there. You can see there was one more team there for them to find, but that's a really good start. Getting that, they're going to get more loot because they've already looted that house. Hopping over back towards the diner. where we see Sabushkox and his teammate were trying to get in. He's going to try to get in through that wall. They're going to go at both sides. This is really nice play for them.
Yeah, edit from both sides, tries to get the tag. It does hit the wall to start, gonna spray down that brick ramp. Over the top they go. There's a big elimination picked up by Shaz. Again, so much more action in this game to start off. We had a lot of players remaining in the previous rounds, but we have already seen 3 pivotal fights to start off round 3.
That's for sure. The Snobby fight and the Dusty Diner fight. There's actually 3 teams at Snobby and then 2 teams at the Diner. That's really difficult. That Diner doesn't have as much loot as you're used to seeing from other different locations, so you definitely have to take things slow and actually win that fight if you want to get that loot. There's nowhere really to rotate except inside the divot, but then fighting those teams is difficult.
Now we're over towards Tilted. That's where Zeke and Poverty have started out on this one. Pretty good on the loadout. That's already compact SMG. You've got the grenade launcher, AR, and shotgun already in that loadout. Yes, we want to see a little bit of those tools for mobility, the health shields to carry as well, but certainly for taking fights right now, they have the pick of the litter when it comes to what they want to rock with.
They really do, and that's actually a change-up that we saw from them. They were landing Pleasant in their first 2 games, and now they're landing Tilted. They're trying to see, is Tilted really empty? I kind of mentioned how we didn't see it looted when we had all those players in there, but for now, over towards Fatal. Another really wide split. This is what we're talking about, those early engagements not really happening. If you look at the radar right now, there's the 2 red arrows very up north, and then there's one more, that's his teammate, coming through Fatal. So these splits, they're not really engaging. They're giving themselves time to loot. And that's critical, because these fights are actually going to be able to get extended if they do, but also it's going to be harder for the fights to actually happen.
Yeah, certainly. Like we were talking about how the initial fights were quite quick. We're still at 93 players, but there are a few long rotations to go for. When we look at where the zone is, it's in the southwest corner of the map. It is still encompassing Tilted, but a lot of it is angled around Polar. Obviously, we'll get subsequent zones to see what remains safe and what exactly the Storm is going to cover. But for now, there are a bunch of teams already on that rotation, and one of them is Skosis and Duo Serva. They're going to be using those Storm Wings to try and transfer through a lot of this. They actually have 1 each.
Yeah, double Stormwing, that's always what you want to get as a duo, because then you can use the total HP of those Stormwings to basically keep you up as long as possible. But one of the things I want to touch on is that loadout. You talked about it in Tilted. He only has that white AR and the blue shotgun, and that's going to be another signal that these players are playing so passive, right? That's not much loot. And coming out in that first circle, they do have 2 planes. It's probably landed at a plane spot, but there's really not much there.
And we've talked about this a little backstage, and it's something we want to emphasize is a lot of the gameplay when you do have those Stormwings is looking for the llamas, looking for the Rift to go. And look at this mobility. 2 Rift to goes, a launch pad. You've got those mini shield potions and that loadout. Now, really, if I'm playing in that position, then granted, I'm not a pro player. If I just round off that AR into a better quality AR, I'm sitting pretty for that last set of Storms.
That's for sure. And one of the things that getting, like you said, using those Stormwings to find the llamas, find the supply drops. With that mobility, that's going to kind of signal them to change their playstyle. They're definitely not going to go for those eliminations now. They have the setup that they need to go towards that end game. Yeah, sure, they want a few more weapons, but those could come as time comes as well. They're going to focus on materials as their main priority.
Yeah, now we see another Stormwing play. It's Monkey and Will Q at this point, but they're far up in the block. They do have quite a way to go down towards the zone, but with that Stormwing, it makes it so much easier. Gone are the days of footing it all the way top to bottom of the map. A long time ago. The zip lines as well have been kind of improved. They're actually not too bad a way of traveling. We were having a conversation about this, and you were saying, well, if they're the option, the only option you can do, and it's safe, by all means, take those zip lines.
That's exactly it. You don't take fall damage anymore, so it's a little bit safer, especially because you can kind of, if somebody does decide to shoot at you or engage with you can just kind of hop off, and sure, you're going to end up in low ground. But now hopping over towards retail, we do have a little bit of a fight here. Adas and Kezi.
Yeah, these are the clinger plays that we're expecting to see. A lot of people stacking up on them. You can remove that high ground building advantage very easily in a fight.
Yeah, you saw how they were a little bit extended over the high ground. He used the clinger back before, and they had to back off. And that's going to be what he needs to do as his teammate is all the way back there on top of the blacktops, is what they're called, right above the library shops.
Yeah, Katrab just peeking up, trying to get as many shots off as he can. I think it was with a heavy AR at that point, just trying to get anything. But look, backing away from the fight, and this was what you were talking about, the temperature in the room here at IEM Katowice Royale, where the players aren't all just moving forward for engages. It's a lot more about picking and choosing and taking those smarter fights.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 93 players up, so that's what we're talking about. We just saw that was a fight that was a little extended, and then they said, maybe not, you know?
Yeah. Better to live another day, because there are no points if you are eliminated at this point in the game. If you don't pick up any kills, you have to reach the top half of the players remaining. So here's a bit of a tricky situation to be in. Cass is going to try and ramp himself up there as well with Reynard. But look, Shaz has the high ground for now. Can they get the angle for the fight? Because for now, there's a few people shooting at the side, but no real damage done in this one. Kudaman going to try and drop down at the back as we're over by Loot Lake, but now we're starting to see teams converge.
Yeah, there's so many different teams trying to rotate through the zone. This is what I've talked about the edge zones. There ends up being so much movement towards the zone, and then all the, oh my goodness, the bottle rockets coming in as well. This is so many people coming through Loot Lake right now.
And you can see in the background, Hivix is in the storm. Yagi as well, trying to come through now. Not afraid of the storm because they have health stay alive, but Hivix will get taken down from Reynard on the side of the zone here, just trying to pick off the stragglers coming into the safe zone.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of gatekeeping as people realize there's so many players coming in. And again, those elimination points, they're going to try for go for it, but you can see Livestar now disengaging towards the other side of Loot Lake. That's going to be the play, actually.
Yeah, Teak now has, I think it's Livestar in there with him. Livestar will end up going down. That was his duo mate. So Teak is looking for the enemy if he can find them. Does get caught, loses all of his shields, and nearly loses the high ground there, as Bobik now will pop that stink bomb. Another one comes out, really good at zoning away some of these close quarters fights.
Yeah, you could tell that they were trying to go for a team play. Livestar and Teak there did have them in a box, did have both sides covered. But he opened up that window and isolated the 1v1. That's exactly what you want to do when you're stuck there. But now Yargi and Bobik, they're going to try to hunt down Teak before the res comes.
They're dropping down, spray down with the SMG. He's trying to put the walls back up. This is such a difficult position for him to be in to try and fight 1 versus 2. The window is open, picks up the down player. But look, they traded one in exchange. It's the 1v1 and he gets it from inside the box. Teak manages to stay alive.
Teak with the clutch there. Unfortunately, he did not manage to do it in time for his teammate, but still, he's alive. He could continue to go for those placements and picked up those elims. I saw a launch pad there, a gold shotgun, a heavy shotgun. That's a fantastic reward for that.
That's a great loadout, especially now. Look, you can see where the safe zone is, down towards Polar in that southwest corner. Frosty Flights is on the south side of the very next safe zone, so getting to this is quite a trek still for a ton of these players that are on the north side of the zone. But everybody's loadout is starting to look a little bit healthier. We're starting to see more of the gold items come through and a few less of the gray ARs sticking around for now.
Yeah, as they start to find engagements, as they start to find everything that's not looted, as they start to do the supply drops with the Stormwings, they're going to start to kit up for sure. Again, zone going towards that west coast, all the way towards kind of the center of the west coast. You can see the villain lair. This is where we're looking at right now. Morovka has set up with the Stormwing, and this is a nice little play here to use the Stormwing, get an established position on the zone, really high ground here, but keep it there. Just land it, kind of box it up, and then later on, if you need to rotate to another mountain or anything like that, another great position in the zone, when the next zone comes, you can go ahead and take it.
Yeah, because really no one's going to challenge them up there. There's almost no way of actually approaching that location, so it's a pretty safe spot to be in. Morovka was one of the people we were talking about quite a lot coming into this tournament, as will Poverty and Zeke, who you can see just on the right side of your screen as we jump back down towards that polar area. We are into the part of the game where until the storms start getting really tight, really close, and before they start moving, the game does slow down. The pace is just a little bit more careful on these tournament games because this is the moment where going out, you end up with nothing. But look, the spray shots across the side of the zone as they're trying to move over. That's Precious that is trying to get towards safety and utilizing some of those pyramid pieces down, drop through, and he actually ends up getting down from this one.
190 pump shot there as he jumped into his box, and that's definitely not advisable.
That's a tough spot to be in as you jump in, take that one pump, and look, Icefire trying to heal himself up for now as Ratai as well.
Definitely going to take a little bit of time there. They did finish that Elim, so they did get the points. They did get whatever they need from it. And now you can see all the congestion. You were talking about how this kind of slows down now, and it's all magnified because of how many players are alive. And this is not something we're used to seeing at normal skirmishes. But here, these players are playing very, 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 very passive.
Ooh, Precious is going to redeploy out the top, try and get to a better position. You can see Mario Sella trying to heal himself up outside of the zone as he got bandages. Looks like he does to keep himself alive for now.
We'll see how many he has. He's going to try his best to get out there. He has one more for sure.
The numbers game.
It's ticking for, I believe, 2 right now.
This is such a rough spot to be in, and there's a fight in the zone, in the storm, right beside him as well. So across the frozen lake, the shots go out as well at this point.
Yeah, and you CP guys, Hardkos and Philip, we saw them kind of lose one each other each game, but they still made it towards that end game. That second game, I think it was Philip, ended up getting towards, like, I think he was top 5 by himself. So really nice play, but they're together now. So we'll see what kind of damage they can do on the lobby in this case.
Yeah, you can see in the action feed, Zeke and Poverty picking up a couple of eliminations for themselves as well. Kiru, he knows that there are 2 players around him. So I imagine, what's the play here? You just wait for them to go and try and go after them?
I don't know. You definitely don't want to try to expose yourself to being solo, but I think you already made some noise. So maybe expand your box a little bit, or maybe use your mobility to get out of there. But it depends on whether or not those players are going to be somewhat aggressive on him. So he got to take their temperature.
So this zone is a lot more different to the initial ones where we had a lot of tilted. There's a lot of low ground and open space for this one because we're on that frozen lake. So transitioning like this is actually quite deadly, where there's people with high ground that have the shot. Wouldn't be surprised to see a few people picked off as they try and get to safety.
Yeah, and as we see Emmer here in a box on the side of the mountain, he was trying to take shots as these players come out on top, but you can see they're going to set up base as well. So you're talking about the position of the zone, how it is going to be influenced. We do have Viking Hill is still inside of the zone, and then the frozen lake, and there's definitely some high grounds on the edge of on the other side, but Viking still has the possibility of being in that zone. That's why these players are boxing up on the side of it right now, is because when you are mountain goating on the side of the mountain, as this is called, where you make a box on the side, you end up blocking one side of you, so you're not going to be able to get shot from that, and it basically protects you.
Yeah, it does, and that's one thing we're going to see how that actually affects these players' positioning as this game continues. You can see we're back on with QLN. Sorry, this is Hupek. QLN was actually above them in the Stormwing. A couple of duos are still up there. I'm counting 4, 5, maybe 6 duos up on Stormwings for now.
Yeah, and this is one of the things, they're so good, but here's a replay. This is from the beginning. Shaz there onto Sheer, and then those tack shotgun shots were so good, but he's going to be able to clean that up. And then Reynard onto Hyvix. This is such a nice play. Again, gatekeeping, using the window, taking down Hyvix, and that's pretty much all he did. Just take him out, finish him, and then go ahead and leave, right? So moving on in, again, gatekeeping, trying to spot people coming in, trying to spot people using the launch pad. And that was actually Precious. We saw him launch a few times away.
Yeah.
And I think we saw him jump away from one of the build fights. So he gets eliminated. Back to the lobby for him.
Yeah, no longer in this one. A couple of the big names we've been following. Taboo, then Hashtag. They won the first round here at Katowice Royale. We'll see whether they can put up some big numbers. That's what, 5 duos all in one place here. Clingers are out. That is a very dangerous situation to be in for Kezi here, but he's managed to get himself a little bit of solace, a little security, and that actually spread out the playing field. However,
I was going to say, this congestion right here when there's so many teams, it's such a small area, makes it kind of, if anything happens, it starts to go chaotic, but you can see right now everybody's starting to shoot all over the place, and Ades goes down to Kiro. That was the solo that we saw there earlier.
That was
the same position.
Kiro was in that situation when we said 1-on-2. Would he be the first one to move? He actually picks himself up an elimination from this point. Look at how much fire is raining down. Clingers getting thrown all the way towards this congestion. That's a massive hit onto Yakos. Look at the damage done already, and at this point in the game, one Clinger can really change the complexion of how this building fight and the passive crawling phase of Fortnite is going to change.
Jason was talking about micro tilting, and when you get hit by a Clinger, that's definitely one of those situations where you're kind of like, no. But at the same time, just the game state, right? You lose 100 HP, you have to spend some of those heals, and that's what these guys are doing to build up the entire game before this point. Is building up those mobility, building up the heals, building up the loadout. And so it's gonna start to really get chaotic here for sure.
Zeke gonna just peek through that pyramid piece. He's able to just get that angle where he's pretty safe to fire out, trying to catch people as they come through. Shime is gonna charge up that dynamite. And there's a bunch of shots from Deoxide and his duo trying to rain down. Oh, this is such a difficult spot to be in if you're in the middle. Couldn't make it into safety. That is an elimination picked up by Deoxide.
And that's exactly what you want to do as Zime and Dioxide playing together, using that dynamite to expose people and then having the rest of the lobby start to shoot down on where you're dynamiting. So good play there from him.
And Deoxide and Zime, they're firing all the way at these duos. And look, the third-party duos are trying to cross-kill anything to pick up those extra points. That was Hacky picking up one kill, and I think it was Zime that picked up one as well. Those eliminations are all important for those 5 points per elimination.
Yeah. And as you saw, as soon as they took some shots, everybody else wanted to join the fun. We're down to 72 players now. We're almost towards that placement point, but we're not there yet. We're not even at that threshold yet, Stress.
One of those awkward moments where Sake looked like he was trying to drop in on this 1-by-1, but couldn't get there on time. It's his duo that is there, so we had to go around the side, didn't want to end up in one position.
Okay, and now the half zone has been revealed. You can see Zero and his teammate Leon were gliding over towards that as close as they can get. It's going to go partially on top of Viking Hill here. And this is where I'm talking about those. Oh, actually, we have a build fight right now. King trying to fight for ultimate height.
Oh, and you can hear how disruptive some of the sound of all these gliders landing as well, trying to find out exactly which angle everybody's landing. King can't quite find the angle. Look how tall they're going up here with N1 Mundo and that with the big high ground advantage, but that will fall quite quickly if somebody throws some AoE up there. But look at how many players we have in this zone. 72 players remain as we head from Zone 5 into Zone 6, and this is where it's going to get chaotic.
Yeah, and that high ground fight was actually very, very important. As I said, it's going over Viking Hill, so he can go ahead and tarp and connect to that hill and kind of keep people below him, but there's still so many players up, and I guarantee there are rifts in play, and they're going to go ahead and take that from him.
There is action everywhere you look in this exchange. You hear the stink grenades go out, and this is another moment where it's so crucial because of the zoning potential, the constant damage that it puts down, and if you don't own the walls around you, it's really hard. Did they just pick up a couple of eliminations from the sky there? 3 eliminations just ticked up on the action feed.
Yeah, a lot of players trying to kind of attack and make things happen. You see the dynamite, the clingers, the stink bombs are all coming out, and it's going to slow down a little bit as the zone starts moving. Everybody's going to decide, hey, I want to focus on myself and start going for the zone, start getting up that mountain. It's going to be critical to try to take that.
So some of the big names that are still alive, Nero and Tajovsky here, they a couple more. Richard actually picking up an elimination for himself. He was the winner in Game 2, had that fantastic launch pad play from the low ground. Again, all of the eliminations coming out here. We're riding on with Shadow, seeing if he can pick something up. That's a long-range shotgun attempt, but doesn't really connect for the damage he was looking for. And they do have the high ground for now, though. We'll sacrifice this a little bit, but the launch pad, look at it. The train of people jumping up and over these structures is insane.
Yeah, I'm looking. Mozart and Richard are in the zone. They did get that mountain goat on the side of Viking. I saw Taboo as well. You can see Poverty and Zeke. So many players who have been placing consistently are still alive right now.
Yeah, Jacek, we saw, ended up falling. He was one of our last 2 in the last round, and now we're on to moving zones. Now is where it is so difficult if you're right at the bottom of this structure to try and go up. Look at the pump damage from Tajovsky, but takes damage in response. Will take out, I think it was Evil he ended up getting.
Yeah, I think he ran out of materials just at the end there, but you can see all these players starting to decide, I want to just get towards zone. This is what I'm talking about with the Rift to go. Sake and King take the high ground on the mountain, and that's so important. I'm not exactly sure where the zone is going, but we'll see as it starts to slowly move.
Yeah, moving down. We're on with Morovka, see what he can do from this position. Will get himself that mountain goat spot that you were talking about. Puts walls all around him and will try and heal up with some of those shields.
Look at the amount of players that are down below. Actually, Richard did get stuck there, so that was what I was concerned about. They're all going to need to go up. It's going all the way up to Viking Village right here.
And it's so tough. A Sake will take down. That was Lothar. It was a knockdown that he got trying to swap over, trying desperately to finish off Jaichu. There is just so much action all going up the mountain.
So much. You saw how quick he's reloading his pump shotgun. He's trying to make sure that's ready. And Noisy
Look at where Noisy is,
and up top.
and he's healthy as well. That's the second key to this, because the zone is moving. So many
There it
people's
is.
health will tick down.
Picking up Coop Boss, and that's so strong for him. He's going to be able to use that campfire. A little bit preemptive there, but having the high ground, there's only 5 players left.
Yeah, and at this point, the zone is still wide enough so that you're not into a heal-off. Noisy, it has that high ground. It's 2v1 at this point. If he can avoid the fight for long enough, he may end up in a decent situation.
Yeah, definitely wants to leave those players to fight on low ground, but I'm interested to see how many mats he has. He has 12 builds to go, and he's going to take the
Oh,
shots
that
on the
was
king.
so much damage down, and that is going to assist on the low ground fight as well.
Still 5 players left. He's going to break this tree to try to get more vision onto Smiley on the player's low ground.
Oh, Smiley down there. He ran out of mats. Noisy will fall. Gets caught by the building for now. But look, Sake trading with Smiley at this point. Noisy at the top trying desperately to get an angle.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
King going down. Simon ends up falling as well with 3
1v1.
players left.
This is
Noisy picks up Sake. Is this a 1v1 to
1v1
win
right
this?
now. Smiley versus Noisy.
And Simon is down at this point. If Noisy can drop in, there's a big elimination. Picked up 1 versus 1, but we know there's no materials to build. Noisy trying desperately to hit through the top of that with that heavy eye. Can he get the angle on it? Looks for it, gets damage down. Trying to spray the storm is going to lock him, and
my
Noisy
goodness.
is able to take round 3.
Noisy absolutely keeping him inside of that box. And that first shot was so critical. He hit him for 170 or something like that. That brought him all the way down. An absolutely insane performance there by Noisy. Without his teammate, Lothar went down.
And that was the high ground plus the health advantage that we saw at a Noisy. We heard him talking on the desk earlier about how they're oriented towards the late game, how they're comfortable with being in that position, and that is why we saw it at a Noisy. That is how he performed, knowing to avoid that fight and be able to take the 1v1 at the end.
I mean, I'm not taking full credit for it, but I mean, having them on the desk seems to have had some sort of effect, right? So, I mean, Lothar, Noisy, you're welcome is what I'm going to say there. But what a finish to that game, gentlemen, and great patience. And most importantly, hitting that shot towards the end, that was vital in that battle.
Yeah, that was crucial. I mean, he didn't have his teammates, so he had to make sure every shot counted, and it did. It really did.
Coming out from the 2v1, let the others fight to start and then pick the pieces. He even dropped down to the low ground, get the angle, and then he knew where the zone was coming, trapping him in that storm. It doesn't matter whether you get the kill if you're getting the first place.
It's very important, but I want to touch on the composure. You mentioned it a little bit on set. The composure there. He had the high ground. We saw that situation before, right? A 1v1 on high ground. And you saw what he did. He switched it up. He went right at him. He took it to him.
I bet he was thinking in the back of his mind as well, I hope he doesn't have a launch pad. Because we didn't want to see that again, do you know what I mean? Like, he probably thought something that wasn't being thought of earlier on, but I think patience. I mean, in those sort of situations, there's you get so antsy, don't you? You're like, I could try and go for a couple of eliminations here because I haven't got the guaranteed win, but because he had that position, he had the high ground, he waited out, and he waited out perfectly, and then when it came down to that clutch moment, hitting that pump, I mean,
Yeah.
what else can we say?
And all the way through, he thought about the position, he thought about it going back over Viking Hill, and that was very important for him to realize. And all of a sudden, there's all those players making we were like, oh, there's so many players that are going to get eliminated right now by the zone. And then all of a sudden, he's on high ground on top of the boat. And that's exactly what you want to see. He took his time to find those eliminations. When he could find the opportunities, he went for them.
Well, I mean, we've heard about what we think's going through his mind. How about we find out what is going through the guys' minds right now? Noisy and Lothar are down on the stage at the moment with Adam.
Thank you very much, chaps. That was unbelievable. 3 is the magic number. The high ground there, how important was it to have that and hold that at the very end?
The high ground was literally everything. Like, as soon as I got on top of the Viking village, I was like, high ground, high ground, high ground. That was the only thing going through my head. And as soon as I got on top of the high ground, that's when I knew that we had the chance to take it all.
Lothar, how proud are you of this guy for finishing the end game there?
Dude, it was insane. Like, we had been separated from the, like, let's say mid-game of the late game, and we had to go up on the Viking village. So the only thing that Noisy said was like, good luck. And we just went up, we separated, he made it to the top high ground. I was just like squashed between teams in the middle ground, but it was amazing that he made it, man. I'm so proud.
Well, you can tell that. I mean, when it comes to that kind of end game as well, and you've got all those different players in a really small kind of enclosed space, do you have like tactics? Do you have a mindset? You know exactly how you're going to play those situations? Or is it often just you kind of go with the flow and whatever happens in the moment happens?
We just go with the flow. Like, our main playstyle is to go for consistency. So all we're really trying is to go for the late game and then frag out. So far it's working out, and we're just going to stick to it.
And now that you have 1 victory out of the 3 games, puts you guys in a very strong position moving forward. It can only give you the confidence. What do you do next? Keep to the same tactics or switch things up?
It works, man. It works, so we're gonna stick to it. And I think we have a really consistent tactic that we are capable of executing, so it's gonna be awesome.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. Best of luck for the rest of the games moving forward. Good times, good times. They're excited. We're excited. We need to go to a short break here. Guys, we're back very, very soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a bit.